double digits, but let's celebrate double digits anyway. How you doing, Deacon?
Doing pretty good.
The next
Doing better than
milestone.
OGR right now.
Yeah, doing a lot better than Origin. Oh my gosh. The process trademark. I love it. Anyways, let's talk about what I don't want to talk about, but I'm gonna have to anyway. The LCK finals. I went into that thinking, yeah, this isn't even gonna be close. Game one gave me false hope, and then yeah. So now I know what it feels like to be a KT fan.
Don't get excited about Africa.
No, I was excited about them all year. But what did you learn about Kingzone in that finals?
Uh, they're really good, but they fuck themselves over essentially. I don't know. It felt like it did feel like they were sort of challenged, at least mechanically, in the first game. Um, they but after that they had like really solid drafts and you could really see that they sort of um took a break, like took a step back and asked what they needed to do to like actually win games, and um they just sort of dominated. It was really it's really weird to see that happen, but like not have a team like SKT or something in the driver's seat, because you don't really expect it from. Well, I guess you would expect it from Kingston, but
Yeah.
yeah,
What I learned from that game is that to beat Kingzone, you have to beat them in picks and draft. Afrika
yeah,
kinda did that game one, which is well, was really the picks and bans were a big part of why they actually won the game. Another part was just Kingzone beating themselves, not playing very well in lane, not being careful, letting Afrika just completely outvision them. But so on that note, yeah, it's another thing that you have to do to beat Kingzone is take notes from Afrika, their macro play and their warding. You have to do that perfectly. Making sure you
yeah,
have vision of Peanut in the jungle at all times, making sure you know where everybody is at all times, knowing if Kingzone is going to try to collapse on a lane or on an objective. But yeah, still, besides that, and besides the fact of just letting them beat themselves in lane, the biggest thing is just beating them in picks and drafts. All year long, the key reason to why Afrika is lost to Kingzone is because they draft poor. Well, not draft poorly. They draft well, but they also forget about a lot of the key things, like not letting obviously Khan get his Jace, not letting Prey get Kesa, even though that didn't really work out for him a couple of games. Still, making sure that these players don't get these really good champions and don't focus on the meta for every other team and for the whole league. Focus on the meta for specifically Kingzone.
yeah.
Yeah, because if you allow them to get their signature picks, it's
Like,
over.
yeah, they do play like a lot differently. It harkens slightly back to 2014 Samsung White. I mean, like Kingston aren't like really as as a mechanical powerhouse as like 2014 Samsung White was compared to other teams at the time, but they play really fast, and when they start playing that sort of fast like macro style, it's really hard to keep up and then like get your own advantage from that, because like they basically dictate where you're gonna go, when you're gonna go there, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what like basically 2014 Samsung White did. Only they just murdered people instead of just macroed about and stuff.
Yeah. Let's talk. Let's look at the other side of the coin, though. Afrika. We talked about this with every other team. What they need to do to improve to make sure that they do better than last year. With Afrika, what do you think they need to do to make sure that they can actually put up a fight? Well, not put up a fight. They put up a fight. Put up a better fight against Kingzone and even perhaps win the LCK next split.
Um, I really feel like they need to just sort of work on vision control, work on like work on like strengthening their like lanes. Like a lot of the times in the losing games for Africa, they're like all of their lanes were basically losing,
Hmm.
um, and like they weren't really getting any advantages anywhere. So like just sort of pick stronger lanes that aren't going to be pushed in quite as easily, and then play like have Spirit or Mowgli play around that. I really think that like the jungle like swap in is really good for them as well because that's something that helped them out a lot in the KT series, and they can use that again going forward. And that's something that um, Kingzone have in a way. They do play Cuz sometimes, but it's not gonna be quite as prevalent for Kingzone because they're gonna almost always play Peanut. And if you can get a vision advantage or a knowledge advantage over Peanut, then you might be able to shut him down
Hmm.
a little bit more.
As far as their overall performance, I think they did really well this year. I didn't really see a lot of flaws in their game, but the
Yeah,
big thing with Kingzone and even KT is that you have a really big jungle problem. You know,
yeah,
Spirit was doing really well up until the KT series when he got subbed out and put in by Mowgli, and then Mowgli was struggling against Kingzone. Just a lot of poor, like micro decisions. I wouldn't say micro play. Just like this, just his decision making wasn't the greatest. Also, I think that although Spirit, I love him now. Although he's great at shot calling, I think that they should try to put that responsibility on Mowgli or maybe Tucson or even Kuro and allow Mowgli to play the jungle because honestly, he's playing. I see him playing a lot better when it comes to
yeah,
playing these top tier junglers like Peanut or I guess not really Rush, but Score. But like against these big name junglers, Mowgli always does fine. And if they work on him one on one, I think that he'll easily be able to be a top three jungler in the LCK.
yeah.
But
Um,
besides that and just communication, I think that Africa did just fine. They just need to work on actually how to. Oh wait, draft obviously picks and bans. Their draft needs to be a lot better against top teams like Kingzone and KT. But as long as they can prepare against, like I've been saying, Kingzone KT, they should be perfectly fine. I could even see them winning the LCK if they work on those three things.
yeah. It's really hard to like discuss how to beat Kingzone though
Yeah, just because
because
they played
like
perfectly.
yeah, you've never really seen a team consistently beat them unless like Kingzone themselves have like put them like have essentially screwed their own team or they've put themselves at a disadvantage. Then no team has really consistently shown a way to overpower Kingzone. So it does feel like they are just that powerhouse, you know?
Hmm. Let's talk about the something I'm really excited about. More excited. I'm more excited about this than Rift Rivals MSI. I would even say I'm just excited for this as I am excited for Worlds, which is the summer promotion tournament. This time, obviously, you saw the results: Kongnu Monster MVP. But yesterday, last night, Ever8 winners and Griffin ended up beating Kongnu. I mean, not Kongnu. Well, Griffin obviously made it in because of their season, but Ever8 winners. Who did they beat in the finals?
They beat Damwon Gaming and
Yeah,
then they beat Battle Comics
yeah.
in the finals.
Oh yeah.
So
I was surprised at Damwon. I really thought Damwon was gonna make it all the way, and then they beat Battle
yeah,
Comics. So, they actually look. Well, I don't watch it, but according to what some people have told me, and looking at the post match results, they looked pretty confident against those two teams. Their regular season wasn't the greatest, but I'm really excited to see them. Actually, they hardly made the playoffs, if I recall, but I'm
yeah.
really excited to see them in the promotion tournament. Who do you think is going to end up in LCK 2018 summer out of these four teams?
Um, I think definitely Griffin's going to challenge whatever team they go against. I think it's like um, I think it's what MVP's choice who
Yeah,
they play against.
the higher seed chooses who they play
Yeah.
against from LCK. MVP is probably going to pick
So
Ever8.
Yeah.
just because
Um.
they look just obviously a lot worse than Griffin.
Yeah.
So like we're probably gonna see MVP versus Everett and then Kongdu versus Griffin.
Yeah. And you have a lot more information about uh, Everett, because obviously not only have they played the regular season, but they've also played now two best of fives. So you know how that team's going to draft, how that team's going to like play in a best of five. So
Hmm.
that gives you a big advantage over them.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to pick the person that qualified for this tournament via regular season.
Yeah.
They don't have to play any best of fives. They have all this time to prepare. So I'm really excited to see Everett versus MVP. That's a matchup I'm looking forward to. Every other matchup,
Yeah.
maybe MVP versus Kongdu. I don't know, but as far as first round, who do you let's just say that MVP picks Everett, and then Griffin faces Kongdu. Who do you think is gonna win those matchups?
Um, I would say that like MVP Everett's harder to call. I think it's gonna probably be a 3-2. I'd probably say Everett. Uh, just because MVP like haven't looked too great. They've been like pretty reliant on like pushing the game to late and having Pilot
Hmm.
really carry the team.
They're like Jin
Um,
Air but worse.
yeah, and they just like uh, they feel like it feels like they're not quite that sort of level of LCK like a team that can stay in LCK. But I might be wrong about that. I think like if it's Kongdu versus Griffin, then Griffin are probably gonna 3-1 that.
Yeah. For me, first round, I feel like it's guaranteed that the Challenger Korea teams are gonna win.
Yeah,
Kongdu looked absolutely awful this year. So I mean, besides the first week, they looked okay, but they've looked awful this year. Griffin's definitely gonna take that one. As far as MVP and Everett, I'm actually gonna go with the MVP win. Like you said, with the problem with Everett winners this tournament is that the MVP gets to see how they draft in a best of five, how they play in a best of five on both sides, and they're gonna be able to prepare for that. I think MVP is gonna be able to take that. However, then we're back to the problem of now you're playing a team who, although they just played a best of five, it was a best of five against Kongdu. As
yeah,
far as second round, I feel like Griffin's going to win that, so they're going to qualify. And then between Everett and Kongdu, I'd probably say Everett's going to win that. So Kongdu is going to go back to Challenger Korea. And then it's going to be an Everett and MVP rematch. But in that rematch, I'm going to say Everett wins, moves on to the LCK. We get to see two, not just one, but two fresh faces in the LCK.
yeah.
But
That'd be really exciting, actually.
something I want to talk about, and we were talking about this earlier, Lee Hens, the support for Griffin, who basically is
Yeah,
the inventor of Korean solo queue.
yeah. He is the support Genja. He's the support Time Lord.
Yeah.
He-
Rank one in season 6, maining Elise. Rank
yeah,
one in season was rank one at one point in season 7. Rank one in season 8, mating Shin support and Shin's top lane. Actually, was the inventor of the Doran's ring start and then for Dark Seal on Singed. Mained that as well in season 8 with Spellbook Ignite. Also invented that. Hit rank 1 in the current season. So
yeah,
should be nice to see him. He supposedly did really well in Challenger Korea, according to someone that I know that watches it actively. So I'll be excited to see that. But let's move on to maybe some more entertaining topics. First of all, let's talk about Rift Rivals. Let's just get this one out of the way. You're EU, I'm NA. You're pretty confident about EU this Rift Rivals, but I'll tell you what. The power of Korean top laners will 100%, in my opinion, carry NA through this one.
Did the power of Korean top laners carry Origin?
Well, I mean that's expect. So, is he really Korean? Let's think about that one. But
I, I I think it's going to be a lot closer than you think.
it'll be close. But I mean, I'm pretty confident that NA will have more wins than EU in the group stage, and they'll also win the best of 5.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. Like I just feel like North America, like their teams are pretty good. I'm never gonna say that like Liquid, Hundred Thieves, Echo Fox currently aren't good, but it feels like their macro play is really off. Like every time I watch a North American game, it always feels like um not just one team, but both teams seem to like just not know what they're doing around the map, and they play really like um I don't know what the word is, but like it feels like they're not playing with as much confidence as maybe a team like Fnatic are, or like even G2. Like Splice will probably get destroyed.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
I was actually just about to bring that up. You talk about how Echo Fox, Hundred Thieves, and Team Liquid aren't bad teams, but on the flip side of EU, Fnatic, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, fantastic team. Fnatic, without a doubt, is better than Team Liquid, Hundred Thieves, and Echo Fox, hands down. Fnatic is like the EU dream team that I dream about. I had a friend of
Yeah.
mine who's a really big EU fan. He fucking loves the new Fnatic. But
Yeah.
then we look at G2. I mean, is this really a? Let's think about this. Sure, on paper they have a great roster. They have oh fuck, I think. Oh, never mind. I thought my Alexa. I'm not gonna say her name because then it's gonna go off. Was going off. But anyway, thank you, Amazon. So let's talk about the G2 roster. Wonder, Yankos, Perks, Hirnyan, and Wadid. On paper, this is a great lineup. But as we saw in the regular season, this isn't the old G2 where they go nearly undefeated and get a perfect season where they win 4 splits in a row. This isn't the same G2. And I would say this is a heavily downgraded G2. I thought it was going to be different. I thought this was going to be an upgraded team, and I'm sure they thought the same thing. But that's obviously not the case. And then Splice, honestly, what is Splice? Like I haven't even considered this team good since Yamada Cannon was their coach. That was the last time I actually considered them worthy of
Yeah.
keeping up with. Like, it's been a while. But although I'm not saying they're a bad team, obviously they won 3rd place. They're not a bad team. But compared to Team Liquid, Hundred Thieves, and Echo Fox, I just don't see them doing anything. G2 could maybe beat Echo Fox, but when it comes to Team Liquid, Hundred Thieves, the only team that can put up a fight against them is Fnatic. So
Yeah.
I think NA, like I said, NA will win more groups in the group stage, in my opinion. And then best of 5 will probably be Fnatic versus Team Liquid. I'm going to say Team Liquid wins that 3-2. I think that's going to be a really close best of 5.
Yeah. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm just not like seeing it, but like
I don't know. I'm feeling
I still
I'm feeling the Jason NA bias here. If you don't like Team Liquid, fuck you.
I didn't say I didn't like Team Liquid. I think Team Liquid are great. I just said that NA as a region, like, seem to play like a bit like headless chickens.
Alright. All I'm gonna say is I have a Team Liquid mousepad. I have a Team Liquid mouse. I'm confident in Team Liquid. I gave Steve like I'm pretty sure I've given Steve like 2% of the income in my total life in buying Team Liquid stuff. But anyway,
Team Liquid fanboy. But yeah, like.
But if Freak is catching up on that budget, you better watch out, Steve. If Freak is starting to take my money, actually, I'm pretty sure I've spent more money on a Freak gear. I just ordered my 4th Afrika jersey, and I'm starting to think maybe I'm spending too much money on this team. But speaking of Afrika, speaking of the Master Region, let's talk about really I'm more excited for this Rift rival than MSI, which is the Korea, China, Taiwan.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the teams real quick. The China teams were finally locked in, thank God. Invictus Gaming is going to be first, well, assuming that they win. But basically, these are the 4 teams. IG, EDG, Royal, Never Give Up, and Rogue Warriors. LCK is going to be Kingzone, Afrika, KT, SKT. And then LMS is going to be Flash Wolves, G-Rex, Machi Esports, and Mad Team. Now, I want to ask you something, Deacon. I want you to answer this truthfully, okay? If you answer this question yes, I will PayPal you $1,000. This is how confident I am that you will say no. Okay. Have you ever heard of any of these LMS teams besides Flash Wolves? Answer truthfully.
I know
besides
who
Machi,
Machi
besides
are.
Machi, well, yeah, besides Machi, let me say that because they actually made an appearance last year.
Did Machi not like?
They
We're
were
Machi not in a world championship at one point? Like,
say what?
were they not in world championship at one point, or am
No,
I
they were
just
at
like?
MSI last year. They didn't qualify for Worlds.
All right, okay. Well, like,
Okay, so
apart from
let's say
Machi, I'm like got no idea
like
who
G
G-Rex
Rex
or
Mad
Mad
Team.
are.
Who the fuck are these teams? Where's J Team? Where is J Team? That's what I want to see here.
Where is AHQ?
Where's where's AHQ?
What happened to AHQ? Did they just like did did Westor just like have a heart attack and like die or something? Like
I
what
guess
what
so.
happened to?
Man, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this quick moment to please say everybody stop bullying Westor. I really like that guy. I think he's a fantastic player.
I
Like he
think
gets
he's really good, but
no,
like
I played
what
with
happened?
no. I played with him like a couple of years back in solo queue, and he gets bullied so hard, and I'm
Oh
like,
no.
guys, come on, please. I love him. I
Yeah.
really like Westor. He's a good guy. But anyways, Taiwan. Let's not even consider them. They're probably gonna get eliminated in. They're not. I don't think they're gonna win any games. Probably gonna eliminate first round. But I want to talk about
Now Flash
what
Fields
I.
are gonna be SKT. Let's be real.
Yeah, that always happens. But let's talk. I want to talk about possibly the greatest concept of a best of five in League of Legends history, which is the relay best of five. When it comes to LCK, who do you think they're going to run first in the relay? And then beyond that, what do you think they're going to run? Do you remember how that works, or should I run you through it?
Yeah, I know how it works. I'm just
Okay.
like
Well,
every time I think about it, I'm like,
in case you're watching, you don't know how it works. Basically, it's a best of five where each region puts in a team to start off. Those teams play in a best of five, and then once the game is over, they then have to let the officials know what team they're going to play next, and then so basically they let each other know who they're playing next, and then those two teams play. You can't play the same team more than 3 times. Only at the very most, a team can play twice. However, every team is required to play at least once. So basically, every team plays once, one team plays twice.
yeah.
So, in my opinion, I think that LCK is gonna just throw it. I think, depending on who the coach is, I know that the coaches usually come together, but like apparently at the last Earth Rivals, Como just kind of took over the gauntlet, which didn't run so well. But I think that SKT, they're probably going to want to get rid of them first. They just want to get that out of the way. I don't think they can perform very well against China. I think even SKT knows that.
Yeah.
Then even second, I think they're going to run Afrika Freaks. Third, I think they're going to run Kingzone. Fourth, they're going to run KT. And then if it goes to the 5, they're going to run Kingzone again. I mean, like, I feel like that's kind of obvious.
Yeah. Like if it goes down to that, like sort of like you need a team to win, they're almost definitely going to play Kingzone.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I think SKT are gonna get thrown under the bus a bit just because they're not quite as they've not been looking quite as
I take it back. Hold on, let me say. I take it back. I'm gonna say that they're gonna play KT first, then SKT, and then what I said. Yeah, Afrika, Kingzone, Afrika, Kingzone. I think that's what it's gonna be like.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyways, you were saying.
Yeah, I feel like SKT. Like, I think you can play KT. Like,
yeah.
Like what I would do is like play Kingzone, Afrika, and then play KT, so that like everybody, like all of the like top 3 teams get to play, and like I don't think KT will actually like drop a game to like what they'd probably lose to IG. They might lose to Edward Gaming. I don't think they lose to either of the other Chinese teams. Possibly RNG, but I don't think so.
Real quick, I want to point out that Misfit Academies are absolutely smashing this game. But anyways.
Whoop, whoop. Go Breton. But yeah. Like, after that, I think if it goes to the fourth game, you like throw in
Oh yeah,
you throw in Kingzone again,
yeah.
and then
Kingzone needs.
like hope to God that it doesn't go to game five, because then you have then you have basically last year. Wait, every team must play once,
Yeah,
right?
every team has to play once
Yeah.
before game 5.
Oh, okay then. Yeah, you
Game 5 is
playing
when the second
SKT
team.
game 4.
But
Then
my thing, actually, I take it back again. I'm gonna say SKT. No. KT first, then SKT, then Kingzone,
yeah,
then Afrika, then Kingzone again.
yeah. Like if you play Kingzone, then Kingzone definitely win game 1.
Yeah.
And then Afrika possibly lose game 2. Not sure. Like if you like.
I don't
But
really
the
see.
thing is, if you only play Afrika once, then you only get best of one Afrika, right?
That's
so
true. But that
so
curse,
Afrika
that
destroy
curse
that.
doesn't apply anymore. Kind of, not really. But I
Yeah.
mean, and you just
Game 1 Afrika, just like
game 1
massacre
Afrika.
people. Kappa.
I don't know. For me, you just gotta. I don't really. I know I said this last year, and it was definitely not true because China won. But I don't see any of. Well, also last year, I don't think MVP deserved to be at Rift Rivals, but that's just between you and I.
Yeah.
Herbs don't DDoS me. When it comes to these LCK teams facing these Chinese teams, I don't see any of the LPL teams besides Invictus beating any of the LCK teams. And even when you get Invictus versus Kingzone, that's a guaranteed win for Kingzone.
Yeah.
But let's move on from Rift Rivals and everything. Let's talk about that tournament. Wait, what are you gonna say?
I honestly wish, like, for MSI, they would make it so that the top 2 teams from the region went instead of just the top team. Because I don't know, I feel like MSI is a less fleshed out, just sort of like it just feels like before the tournaments even started, a lot of the time the winners basically decided.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, if you do that, then you basically are guaranteeing another Korean versus Korean finals.
Yeah.
And I don't think people want to see that. People want to see regions face off against each other. They don't want to see the same regions face each other. Because if they wanted to see that, they'd go watch LCK, or they'd go watch or they'd go watch LMS, or go watch LPL, or go watch NALCS or ELCS. If teams, or just go wait till Worlds. If teams want to watch the same regions face each other, they would go watch that league. I don't really think that they should do like the multiple teams. If so, I mean, only allow one Korean team. Give every other region a handicap. But as far as MSI goes, so far we have a lot more confirmed teams than last time. We have OPL, Direwolves, Ascension, and Gambit as last time. I think we talked about Kaboom, Chaos Latin, and EVOS, as well as NA and EULCS. We now have, finally, our Korean MSI team, Kingzone Dragon X. Most likely Flash Wolves are going to be making it unless G-Rex pull an upset. But yeah, basically all the regions that matter, we know what teams are going to get. The only teams that haven't been decided are TCL, which is going to be Supermassive versus Royal Bandits. LLN, which is their Latin North, right? Yeah, Latin North. Rainbow 7 versus Infinity Esports. And then you have LMS Flash Wolves versus G-Rex. But let's talk about LPL. I want to talk about this specifically. Out of all the LPL teams remaining, which of these 4 teams do you think are going to be representing China in the MSI tournament?
From regular season and like best of 5 performance currently, like you basically sort of have to give it to Invictus. Like, they've been so dominant throughout the entire like regular season that like I don't really see them like losing to any of the other Chinese teams.
Here's my thing about that. Invictus had a winning record against every team except for one team, and guess who that team was?
RNG.
It was RNG, yes. So here's my thing. They were 1-2 against RNG. RNG, in my opinion, looked kind of weak, but still, the fact is they showed that they
So
can
you
beat.
think that
They beat.
RNG are gonna be Invictus's kryptonite, basically?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that they're going to be; they already are. That's been shown in the regular season. They completely smashed IG.
Yeah.
They beat them two. They had a record of 2-1 against them. Now, when it comes to what I think it'll probably be, I think that Rogue Warriors are going to beat Edward Gaming first of all. But when it comes to EDG versus RNG, again, they haven't played. Well, actually, no, wait, they haven't played. Yeah, so they haven't played. So the problem with that is we don't really know what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
Just because the group system is a bit interesting. But still.
Yeah, I feel like if it goes to an RNG EDG final, then EDG win that. If it goes to IG EDG, then IG win that. Basically, like.
Oh wait, no, they have played. Yeah, I thought so. That didn't seem
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I was gonna say they haven't played. Really? No. RNG beat EDG 2-1. So yeah, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and say RNG are gonna make it to MSI. I hope that they do because they're really the only team that can beat a Korean team. No offense to you, Milo, or any of you IG fans out there, but when it comes to beating Korean teams, you have to have Uzi if you're not a Korean team. That's just it. You saw it with SKT versus RNG. You saw it with RNG versus Samsung. It takes an Uzi to kill a Korean.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about the actual MSI tournament. Who do you think? Besides Kingzone, because that's the obvious. Besides Kingzone, let's say some freak accident happens. Kingzone all catch the flu. They have to forfeit. Who do you think would win MSI in that case?
Probably whatever Chinese team went. So RNG,
really?
EDG.
You know what? Although I said NA is gonna win Rift Rivals, I'm gonna go ahead and say Fnatic. I'm gonna say that of all the teams at MSI, if it's not Kingzone, it's gonna be Fnatic.
Fair enough.
Unless of course RNG make it. In that case, it's gonna be RNG.
I think Fnatic will probably make it further than Liquid.
Probably just because Liquid choking when tournaments matter. But let's move on to the final thing that we always talk about. Your bold statement. Let's talk about MSI and bold statement. What's your bold prediction for the?
You want to know my bold prediction? My bold prediction is that Direwolves get to the main event.
Really, you think Direwolves are gonna make it to group
play-ins?
Someone took the OPL finals a bit too seriously.
They're gonna absolutely smash play-ins. Let's go.
As far as I go for bold predictions, I'm gonna say that neither VCS or LMS will make it to group stage. I think the wildcard regions this is their year.
Yeah, Direwolves gonna make it, and then
I don't know. If I had to say, I'd probably say Kaboom just because of their hype. And man, I'm trying to say anything but Direwolves. Fuck it, Direwolves. It's their year. Welcome to the year of Dire.
Nah, dude, it's gonna be Direwolves and it's gonna be Gambit.
Okay. Actually, no. I'm gonna say Gambit and Kaboom. That's my serious bold prediction.
Kaboom. No, but in that case, Liquid are gonna get further than Fnatic because Fnatic are gonna get destroyed by Kaboom.
Oh, you're right.
You are right. Because Kaboom are the EU deniers.
Anyways, that's going to be it for this episode. You heard our bold predictions. You heard us talk about all the other stuff. Let's go Kingzone. It's the only time you'll ever hear me say that for a while until OCK comes back. And I'll get back on the Afrika bandwagon. But for now, adios.
See ya.
You have anything funny to say before we leave? I know you got something.
I don't know. I think I think Direwolves are funny enough as it is.
That's true. All right. Adios.
See ya.